It's a Monday. That means we got a podcast and it's time to do the weekend.
Roundup, where we recap every game that was over the past weekend. It's a good roundup. A lot of good series. We're back. The roundup is back.
It's nice. 4 days either felt like 48 hours or it felt like 3 weeks for people in baseball. How did it feel for you? Did it feel like 3 weeks?
No, just because I slept for most of it and did some actual NFL player props, football research. So for me, I just took kind of a second away from baseball. It felt appropriate. I wouldn't say it felt like 3 weeks, and I wouldn't say it felt like 2 hours. It felt like the exact right amount of time.
I might have been awake for 2 hours of it, to be honest with you. By the way, I'm Jack. He's Peter.
Yeah.
I slept on Wednesday night into Thursday from 9:30 p.m.
Mm.
to 11:30 a.m. I got 14 hours and it was awesome.
That is incredible. I barely sleep during the season just because I'm up so late watching the games, then I'm
You're
getting
a
up so
grinder.
early for
Yeah,
the
because you're
betting
because
picks.
you're a freak athlete
I
and
am a freak
have a
athlete.
work ethic that's unmatched by most.
You're saying it, not me. What I am saying is the day after the World Series, like it's the November 1st, November 2nd,
Yeah, the John Rothstein "We Sleep in May." I know exactly what you're
that
doing.
is the best sleep you could ever imagine. I go to bed at like 8 p.m. I wake up at noon. I feel like I sleep for 16 hours a day for the next 3 days, and we're right back to it.
It is fun stuff. No, that break was good. It was good to see you guys in Atlanta, and here we go. We've got a full slate of Major League Baseball that we are going to.
Roundup, and it's all brought to you by the sportsbook born in Vegas. Remember, folks, download BetMGM, whether that be on iOS or Android, and use promo code JUSTBASEBALL. Why? First bet offer up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first pick loses. But remember, gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply. I feel pretty happy because I feel like you gave me the 10 best series of the weekend. But then I was also looking at your list and I was like, you got a couple of pretty good ones too, which just means we're loaded. We're
We
loaded.
are
Let's
loaded.
roll.
We are loaded, and I'm starting with my fighting fish. Your fighting fish, the
Hell
the
yeah.
official fighting fish of the Just Baseball show. The Miami Marlins took 2-3 against the Kansas City Royals at Lone Depot Park in Miami. Game one, 8-7 Miami in 10. Kyle Stowers. Where were you when Kyle Stowers? Kansas City got a run in the ninth to tie it on John Rave's second homer of the game and his first two major league homers. KC plated two more in the top of the 10th. But Kyle freaking Stowers walked it off on Carlos Estevez, the guy that punched him out in the All Star game. He got that 2-run walk-off homer against Estevez in a four-seam fastball, the bottom of the 10th, as part of a second consecutive multi-homer day. 5 homers over 2 games with an All-Star game and a swing-off homer in between. So the Marlins won game one, 8-7 in 10. Game two, pitcher's duel, 3-1 Fish. Otto Lopez plated all 3 runs with an RBI ground out in the first and a 2-run double in the bottom of the eighth. Salvador Perez, he provided the only offense for KC with a solo shot in the top of the eighth. Michael Wacha, 6 innings, a 1-run ball, but the number 100 player in baseball, Cal Quantrill, 6 scoreless, just 2 hits against him, K'd 3, didn't walk anyone. Game three, 7-4 Kansas City. They salvage, they avoid the sweep. Miami got 4 runs in the bottom of the ninth from a 2-run double or a 2-run single from Xavier Edwards, 2-run double from Augustine Ramirez. That made it close. Marlins actually got the tying run to the plate going into the ninth, trailing 7-0. But Chris Bubich continued the All Star thing. 5 scoreless innings, kept the pitch count below 70. Salvi went yard again. Jack Caglione had a 2-run double. If you ain't Fish fam now, smell you later.
If I told you on July 20th that the Miami Marlins would be 3 or 4 games up over the Atlanta Braves, I would have called you crazy, but that's why we love the game of baseball. I want to throw it over to you to just properly glaze Kyle Stowers because he deserves it. But I just want to interject with a player that I've also been enjoying on the Marlins, and I know you have too. Otto Lopez. Otto Lopez can kind of do it all. He's got 11 home runs, 10 steals. He plays great defense at both shortstop and second base. And this was a guy about maybe 2 months ago when I think it was a mailbag question when we were talking about guys who got off to a really rough couple of months to start the season and I thought would heat up. And we had a whole list of names. But a guy that I wanted to focus on was Otto Lopez. And I mentioned how good he would be for fantasy owners because he can hit for power, because he can steal bases. But on the baseball field, he's defending his position really well. He's just a very well-rounded player that I feel like not a lot of people are talking about. And because Kyle Stowers hits a home run every single day,
Right.
nobody's really talking about Otto, but Otto deserves some more love.
So over his last 22 games, Otto has 27 RBIs. Of course, that leads Major League Baseball. 27 RBIs over his last 22. Couple of things about Otto Lopez. Aram wrote a tremendous piece at the end of last week about the Marlins, just kind of state of the Marlins right now. And he mentioned Otto is tracking for the best shortstop season from a Miami Marlin since Jose Reyes.
Wow.
That's a long time.
It's a long
But
time.
Otto is that kind of guy. And this guy got DFA'd twice. How does that happen? He's always been a world-class defender, but he was at second base. Elite second base defense can win you gold gloves, can win you platinum gloves, but it doesn't get you beyond like the Bryce Terang, Bryson Stott bucket.
Yeah.
Like, those are good players.
Yeah.
But if you're an elite defensive shortstop, all of a sudden you can carve out 10 years in the big leagues like Nick Ahmed. And Otto, what I think he has proven over the last month playing shortstop in the big leagues is that he is not only a good defensive shortstop in the big leagues, he's an elite defensive shortstop in the big leagues. And if he's hitting enough, his OPS right now, I think, sits at 710. Major league average right now is 715. If he is a 100 WRC plus player, he's a 4-win shortstop.
Yeah.
He's exceptional. He, outside of Stowers, obviously, is probably my favorite Marlin not named Ron Henriquez to watch right now. And Yuri. I'll throw Yuri in there. Otto is probably my second favorite hitter outside of Stowers to watch right now because the value is just oozing every single time you watch him play baseball. It's gritty. It's fun. He doesn't make mistakes. He made a throwing error in the 5th inning on Sunday, and we're like, we forgot he did that sometimes. Like, we forgot he's a human being.
Yeah.
Otto is somebody that I feel like this fan base is falling in love with, and I feel like baseball will fall in love with very, very quickly. And I hope it's happening right now.
Agreed. It's happening with me, who is, just an enjoyer of the fish right now. But floor is yours, Kyle Stowers.
So Sunday in Baltimore, he hit 3 homers against the team that drafted him and that he debuted with.
Revenge game.
All-Star game comes around. This guy punches out against Carlos Estevez, but then hits a homer in the swing-off in Atlanta. And then Friday comes around. He sees Estevez again, and he takes a 4-seam fastball, and he hits it into the seats for a walk-off 2-run homer. Another multi-homer day for him. So 3 homers on Sunday, 4-day break, 2 homers on Friday. This is from OptaStats. Since RBIs became an official stat in 1920, the only other Major League Baseball player to reach 8 hits, 5 homers, and 11 RBIs over a 2-game stretch, Ty Cobb in May of 1925.
Good company.
When you're doing something that only Ty Cobb has done in the last 105 years, you're doing something really, really right. And this guy, it was cool. He did a post-game interview with Steven Strom, who's my partner on Marlins Radio, does a great job hosting Marlins on Deck. Steven was on field after, and Steven, like, his first question was just, dude, what planet are you on right now? And Kyle said, I promise you it doesn't feel as sexy as it looks. It looks pretty sexy, Kyle Stowers.
He's in a flow state.
He's in a flow state right now. I think that this guy is very comfortable with where he's at as a baseball player at this moment, and this is beyond anybody's wildest dreams for Kyle.
Also, just to wrap up on Stowers, talk about the confidence level from Dave Roberts to put him in the swing off at all. Right?
That was probably Clayton McCullough aided. I would assume Clayton McCullough had some say in that because he was on Doc's coaching staff in Atlanta.
He probably was like, this is a good guy to have, but at the end of the day, it is Dave Roberts' decision, and Dave Roberts picked
it is
Stowers
cool. Like it's
let him off.
Really cool. Honestly, I kind of felt like I was watching the game. I was already laying in bed at the Airbnb, and by bed I mean couch. Great job, Aram.
Actually, was that Colby? Was that a Colby or Elijah thing? Or did Aram book that Airbnb?
I think it was an Aram thing. I think Aram booked the Airbnb. But I was laying on the couch watching on my phone, and I felt like Leo DiCaprio in what was it? Was it Don't Look Up? Leo DiCaprio when he sits up in the chair and snaps at the TV. It's like, oh, that's the guy. That's our guy. That's the Marlin. That was awesome.
Great weekend to be a part of Fish Fam.
Yeah, dude. Huge weekend to be a part of Fish Fam. Not a great weekend to be a Yinzer, and it was Yinzer Palooza weekend in Pittsburgh. Pirates get swept by the White Sox. Not only swept, they got embarrassed by the
Boat
White Sox.
raced. Boat raced by the team that might win the pennant. Talk about the hottest team out of the break.
Dude, Sox are hot, huh?
Sox are hot.
Game one went to the White Sox 10-1.
Yeah.
Edgar Carroll, Luis Robert homer, Jonathan Cannon, 7 innings, a 1-run ball. The Pirates, I'm going to bring this number up, 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position, okay? Game two, 10-4 White Sox. The Pirates, 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Lenyn Sosa, 3 for 3 with a double and 3 RBIs. Sox bullpen went 4 2/3 scoreless. Game three, 7-2 White Sox. 4-run first with a pair of homers from Miguel Vargas, Mike Tauchman against Andrew Heaney, who allowed 7 earned runs in 4 innings. ERA on the year sits at 5.03. The Pirates 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. So the weekend totals from that 3-game sweep at the hands of the White Sox. The Pittsburgh Pirates were outscored 27-7, and they were 4 for 27 with runners in scoring position. On Yinzer Palooza weekend, no less. They give out Mac Miller bobbleheads on Saturday.
I almost wanted to take a trade to Pittsburgh just to go to that game to get a Mac Miller bobblehead. But did you see that Joker? Like there was all these photos of people just hoarding the Mac Miller bobbleheads. That's one of the coolest giveaways the team has ever done. Don't be that guy. Bring your trash bag and just find them all over the stadium and steal them from kids. Be better.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Do you have takes about the Pirates? Do you have takes about the White Sox? Dude.
I got to be honest. And I'm an honest guy. There was a lot better series than to just watch the White Sox steamroll the Pittsburgh Pirates when we didn't even get a Paul Skeens start sprinkled in there. But what I do want to talk about, one takeaway, it's not going to be very long, but it is interesting, at least in my opinion. Mike Tauchman could net the White Sox a pretty decent return. Now, I know he's a rental, so it's not going to be anything crazy, but this guy's just flown completely under the radar this year, and it has to do with the fact, well, he hasn't been healthy for the entirety of the year. But I ask you, right, when we do our trade deadline stuff, how many teams could use an outfielder? How many teams could use a left-handed bat? Mike Tauchman is slashing 289, 383, 464 for an 847 OPS. Now, is he going to continue that the entirety of the year? Probably not. Is he going to be valuable for a contender, potentially if they need a guy like this? I think so. So I think Mike Tauchman is going to be one of those guys when he gets traded and everyone's like, whoa, they got that? And then they go look at Mike Tauchman's stats and they're like, oh, shit. Like if Mike Tauchman was traded to my team, I should be pretty damn excited. So That's what I wanted to point out, that Mike Tauchman is a pretty sneaky deadline acquisition for a team.
He is. He makes a lot of sense in a lot of different places. I know Kansas City is probably skewing towards selling instead of buying, but they would buy a Tauchman within the division. San Diego, like Mike Tauchman, would be a really good Padre tomorrow. Right. There are a lot of teams that could use a corner outfielder like that, and Tauchman would be an upgrade. So I'm with you. The other thing that I have here, I know he homered, and it was like a decently quiet weekend for him. Nowhere close to the level that Kyle Stowers has emerged for the Marlins, but the White Sox have a piece emerging for them. Miguel Vargas has emerged fully as a piece for the White Sox moving forward. It seems like they are in the figuring it out stage, and they have had Miguel Vargas solidify himself as somebody moving forward. They've had Chase Maedroth in whatever capacity it may be. Is it everyday shortstop? No. But they've had him emerge as somebody that they can work with. Kyle Teal-Carroll, that feels like your catching tandem moving forward. They're figuring it out kind of piece by piece. And I like that Miguel Vargas has forced their hand with that. The one that intrigues me is Lenyn Sosa. Like he flashes just enough to stick around and get a bit more time.
Yeah.
But I don't want to pretend that like I watch every single at bat of Lenyn Sosa right now.
From my time watching the White Sox, it does seem that Lenyn Sosa likes to eat up some lefties. And against righties, he more seems like a short side of the platoon guy. But at the same time, you can carve out a valuable big league career crushing lefties like I think he does. Now, I don't have the stats in front of me. Is my feeling correct with Lenyn Sosa crushing lefties?
Lenyn Sosa against left-handed pitching is so ridiculously off. This guy is a 577 OPS against left-handed pitching, but a 780 OPS against right-handed pitching. You couldn't have been more wrong.
We just started the podcast and I'm already cooked.
Yeah, re-rack it. We're only 15 minutes in. All right,
It
we've
was a
spent
good
enough
run.
time.
It was a
We've
good
spent
run.
enough time on White Sox Pirates, I
We're
think.
due to we're back to the weekend roundup. I apologize out there, folks. Don't listen to anything I say for the
Yeah,
rest of the show.
we got 4 days off. We forgot how to freaking talk, huh?
Yeah.
Uh, let's go to Padres Nats in Washington, and this was close to a drubbing. San Diego won 2 of 3. Washington won game 2, but San Diego obliterated the Nats in game 3. Game 1 went to the Padres 7-2, tied at 2 through 8. But San Diego had a 5-run top of the ninth against Kyle Finnegan, the only tradable piece for the Nats, including a Manny Machado grand slam in that
Is he
ninth
even
inning.
tradable?
Dude, I have no idea. It
Yeah.
took Washington 7 pitchers to get through the last 4 innings. I saw how many pitchers were listed on the box, and I was like, how many? Like, Soroka, didn't he go decently long? It's not like he was chased out of the box. Soroka went 5, and they still used 8 pitchers in the game. First game out of the break. 7 pitchers in the final 4 frames. Dylan Cease was nails. 5 1/3, 4 hits, no runs. He K'd 10, didn't walk anyone. Game 2, 4-2 Washington. Yu Darvish got the ball again. He took the loss. He went 5 innings, a 2-run ball, though. Mitchell Parker, quality start, 6 innings, a 2-run ball. In the win, Nathaniel Lowe homered. Game 3, 8-1 San Diego. Second grand slam of the weekend. Xander Bogaerts in the first as part of a 5-run first against the All-Star, Mackenzie Gore. Final line on Gore. 2 1/3 innings, 8 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 punch outs, and 3 walks. Elias Diaz also took him deep. Nick Pivetta was awesome. 6 innings, a 3-hit, 1-run ball. 2 games to 1. Padres took this series in Washington.
I think I'm going to start to sell the Padres. I'm thinking about adding
Why?
to my futures portfolio. Because Arm and I were talking about it, I think on Friday's episode when we said one thing to watch, and he asked the question, does Michael King and Yu Darvish coming back change your opinion? And what I said is basically, yes, if they're back to their highs, this team could win, 90 games. And it's also about selling based on expectations, right? So I'm more talking about it from a betting perspective. So their live line right now is about 90.5 wins, and I just don't see this as a 90-win team. I really like their bullpen, but sometimes bullpens, when they're used as much as the Padres have, they
They'll
start to
dissipate down the stretch.
they start to dissipate down the stretch. And I also feel like the Padres offense still is pretty top heavy. And I also don't know the bat that they're going to get to completely change that idea, right? We're talking about potentially adding a Jesus Sanchez or a Mike Talkman. I don't think that elevates them that much. I mean, the Padres right now, they have a plus 17 run differential. Their expected win loss is 51-48. Whenever they play up in class, they're below 500, right? Against teams over 500, they're 23-36. They've beaten up on a lot of bad teams, most notably the Nationals from this weekend. So again, when I say that, I'm more talking about betting lingo, about taking their under win total from here, just because I don't view this team as a 90-win team. I still think they're a borderline playoff team. They're going to compete. And if they get in the postseason, I actually think they're a better postseason team than they are a regular season team for the rest of the season. I just thought I would throw that out there in case, because I haven't bet it yet. I wanted to throw that at you and ask you if you think I'm crazy.
I can't really give you advice on that because I'm
True.
a
Yes.
employee. So
More not from a betting angle, just thoughts in general about the Padres. Or if you just don't want to answer that, I understand.
no, I mean I'm not going to answer it from that lens. But what I will say about the Padres, like I trying to get my finger on their pulse, and they come in for 3 starting today. Like
Yeah,
I didn't see their probables anywhere. I think we see Cease on Wednesday. That's my
that makes
understanding. And then we
sense.
get like Randy Vasquez and then a bullpen day or something.
But see, like, does that feel like a 90-win team, like those three?
No, so I was just going to say, like, if those are the probables that they're running out here 60% of the time, it's like, I understand what you're saying there. There are a lot of deficiencies offensively that they're going to address. And by a lot, I mean like 3. And that's a lot for a
Yeah.
team that is trying to lock down a wild card spot. I'm not going to say win a division because at the end of the day, like, is anybody aside from the Dodgers in the NL West trying to win a division. Like it's just kind of the Dodgers division and they hold it. It's like
Who
Kansas in the Big
knows?
12.
Who knows? Who knows with how the Dodgers have been playing? We'll talk about
Dodgers
them
just got
later.
swept by Milwaukee. It's not how the Dodgers are playing. It's how the freaking Brewers are playing, but more on that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Uh I, I don't know. I feel like they are several pieces away, and I don't know if one deadline can fix everything that I want to see changed with
And
San
also,
Diego.
here's the thing about the Padres, and I hate to do this right after they won a series against the Nationals. The Padres are still a good team. I want to make that clear. They had good performances this weekend. Beating up Mackenzie Gore like that is wildly impressive. I guess I just look at their offense and you say that they have 6 solidified spots. And you're right, because those solidified spots are Fernando Tatis Jr., Luis Arias, but at the same time, like I'm not big on Arias. He's got a
Yeah,
seven.
but like that's solidified to me.
It's solidified, but it's still not that good, right?
Sure.
Manny Machado is a monster. Gavin Sheets is not the same guy, right? Jackson Merrill is kind of having a tough season, and I think he might have just hit the IL again.
Yeah.
And then Bogarts, right? He hit that big grand slam today, but he's a slightly above league average hitter this season. And then Jake Cronenworth has been really solid, but he's not been amazing. He's got a 759 OPS, and then it just turns into a bunch of holes. So if King and Darvish aren't back to their normal selves, which I think is asking a lot for two guys coming off injury, especially with Darvish, being 39 years old almost. I don't know. I'm just a little bit lower than market on them. And I think again, when I make takes like these people, you can think whatever you want, but I put my money where my mouth is. That's a fact. So I'm down on the Padres and we'll find out if I'm right.
Cool. All right. You want to go to Minnesota, Colorado?
Absolutely.
Minnesota, Colorado. Let's chat about that. Colorado took the front two. I was thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe the Rocks are going to sweep out of the break. No, not the case,
Bad
unfortunately.
look for Twins believers. Not going to lie to Twins Nation. We are not in a good spot.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You've seen Royce Lewis throw the ball to first base, right?
Yeah, I don't like it.
It looks really uncomfortable.
Really uncomfortable.
And
Like
I
he
don't want to like
forgot.
judge it because he gets it there, but it looks
Yeah.
incredibly uncomfortable. And he's a billion times the athlete that I am sitting on my ass right now talking about baseball. But it just looks so unorthodox and uncomfortable getting the ball from third to first.
Yeah, and the offense hasn't really been there. Now, he did have a couple of big hits in this series, which I know you're about to break down, but I talked about this, I think, with you, right, on the American League episode, where I was like, what is Royce Lewis?
Yeah,
Like, how do we judge him moving forward if he's not the
right.
grand slam every other game type of guy and plays 40 games? And we think, well, if he stays healthy, now he's been healthy and he's not
Right.
that good. So,
I think honestly, what we were hoping he would be was Buxton. We're like, oh, just wait
yeah,
till he plays 162, and now we're watching Buxton play 162, and he's
and it's
freaking
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then we're looking at Royce Lewis, and we're saying, oh, just wait till he plays 162, and we're watching him play 125, and we're sitting here saying, that's it.
The Twins were really built for the COVID year. I don't even know. I don't even remember how they did during the COVID year. But
I thought Arise was going to hit 400 that
if you
COVID
give
year.
them a 60-game sprint, this team would win championship after championship after championship.
Let's talk about this series in Coors. Game one went to Colorado 6-4. Colorado had a 4-run first against Chris Paddock, who allowed 5 runs in 5 innings. Buxton and Willie Castro homered for Minnesota. So did Ryan McMahon and Jordan Beck for Colorado. Beck finished a double shy of the cycle. Ryan Jeffers for Minnesota 4 for 5 with a double. Kyle Freeland the story. 6 innings, a 1-run ball at Coors. Game two, 10-6 Colorado. Rockies had 4 innings scoring multiple runs in that one. Mickey Moniak, Hunter Goodman, Ezekiel Tovar all had 3 hit days. Goodman, Tovar, and Ryan McMahon all homered. Zebby Matthews, 4 innings, 5 earned. Senzatella, quality start, baby. Shout out Antonio Senzatella. Game three, Joe Ryan Holt skids for the Minnesota Twins. 7-1 Minnesota. Multi-homer day for Royce. Homers from Bader and Wallner as well. Joe freaking Ryan, man. 7 innings, 1 run, 11 Ks, no walks. Over his last five, a 1.45 ERA. And on the year, he is third in all of Major League Baseball in whip. He's one of the best pitchers in the game, man. And if he gets moved, it better be for a king's ransom.
I agree, and that's why I think he could potentially be the biggest name moved at this deadline, which, if you're not watching Minnesota Twins baseball, like Joe Ryan isn't that big of a name, but in case you've been living under a rock, Joe Ryan's got a 2.63 ERA in 116 innings with 132 strikeouts, and he's coming off a season where he posted a 3.60 ERA. It's just that low slot. And you think to yourself, how is a guy throwing 52% fastballs at 93 miles an hour? How is that working so well?
Yep.
How is the opponent batting average against that pitch the best of any of his pitches, right? 52.4% of the time he's throwing a fastball at 93.4 miles an hour, and opponents are hitting 177 against it with a 309 slug. And the reason is, and why we always talk about different slots and carry on the fastball. It's one of the lowest release heights of any pitcher. And it's just one of those risers that guys just can't get on top of. And we saw it at full strength against the Rockies. I know it's the Rockies, but at the same time, give them a little credit. It is at Coors Field, and Joe Ryan, the Minnesota Twin, does not have much experience pitching at Coors, but he walked in there and absolutely dominated a Rockies team that was putting up runs in the first two games. So while the Rockies are terrible, I did think that it was a pretty solid performance. And the reason I wanted to talk about him more is that he's been doing these kind of performances all season long. And if your team gets Joe Ryan, you're going to see the prospects traded for him and you're going to wince because it's going to be a lot. But then he's going to come over to your team and absolutely dominate the guy's box office.
Can I give you some Joe Ryan numbers that I find fascinating? The most often thrown pitch in Major League Baseball this year has been Freddie Peralta's four-seam fastball. He's thrown it over 1,100 times. He throws it 57% of the time right now, okay?
Similar kind of to Joe Ryan, the low slot riser, and it works.
Fastball Freddie. Freddie Peralta, pardon, has thrown the most of one pitch in Major League Baseball. Again, Freddie has thrown his four-seam fastball over 1,100 times. Joe Ryan's fastball is the 10th most often used pitch in baseball. He's thrown it 905 times. And I'm going to do a dramatic ranking of run value by pitches in baseball. The best pitches in Major League Baseball by run value. In a tie for sixth, Tyler Rogers' sinker and Zach Wheeler's four-seam. In a tie for third, Brian Woo's fastball, Chris Sale's slider, and Michael Wacha's changeup. The second best pitch in baseball by run value is Tarek Skubal's changeup. And the best pitch in baseball by run value is Joe Ryan's four-seam fastball.
Twins Nation, that's all we need for this season, right? We're not going to win a ton of games. We're probably not going to make the playoffs. You might even trade him, but that's a stat that you run with. That's a stat that you go tell your friends. That's a stat that you tweet on Twins Twitter. Get after it right now. That's a great poll. Joe Ryan, best pitch in baseball.
Joe Ryan's fastball by run value on Savant is the best pitch in Major League Baseball. So that's what I stand by. Rocktober may be back on. We'll see what happens.
No.
Last series from me, St. Louis and Arizona in the desert, and Arizona with a sweep over the Cards. Game 1, 7-3 Arizona. All three St. Louis runs came in the ninth inning, including a two-run home run from Victor Scott. But Brandon Pfaadt went 7 scoreless, 6 Ks, and no walks. Everyone but Corbin Carroll had a hit for Arizona. Game 2, 10-1 Arizona. Corbin Carroll changed that. 3 for 5 with a double and 2 triples. Geraldo Perdomo, 3 hits and 4 RBIs. Eugenio Suarez, multi-homer day. Homers 32 and 33. Ryan Nelson, 6 innings, a 1-run ball. Sonny Gray got killed. 3 1/3, 11 hits, and 9 runs. But game 3 for St. Louis and Arizona, 5-3 win for the Diamondbacks. Eugenio Suarez. Holy hell, dude. 2 for 4, another multi-homer day. 4 homers in his last 2 games, 34 and 35. I love this note from Bob Nightingale. No player in MLB history has been traded in season after reaching 35 homers. Arizona just swept St. Louis. If you asked me on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, I would have said, well, Gino's going to be the first. And now I'm looking at this saying, do they have a puncher's chance?
I can't quit this team.
Yeah, I get it.
I have to know. Diamondbacks fans, in the YouTube comments, where you at? Just where you at? Because you sweep the Cardinals like this out of the break, and you all know how great you've been in the second half over the last couple of seasons. You've seen Gallen start to turn a corner. Kelly is solid. Brandon Pfaadt has looked a lot better lately. And you see the offense. You know you can compete. You went into the year as one of the favorites to come out of the National League. You know it's there. But you also can understand where your general manager is at in Mike Hazen. Because for ever up until now, you guys have been playing like a seller. So what is GM Mike Hazen supposed to do? He knows that this is going to be a seller's market. There's a lot of teams looking for bats. And you have the best one. And you have like the fourth best one in Josh Naylor. And you have Gallen. You could really recoup a ton of assets, but or we say fuck it and go for it. Gino Suarez. Since the second half of 2024, 54 home runs. That ranks third in Major League Baseball. 137 RBIs. Ranks second in Major League Baseball. 592 slug. That's third in Major League Baseball. 924 OPS. That is fifth in Major League Baseball. Our account, Just Baseball, tweeted that out. Gino Suarez has been a top 5 hitter since the start of 2024. Mike Hazen, use that tweet. Because if you don't get the right package for him, what if the Diamondbacks buy? I want to see it happen because they still have it. But at the same time, they have not proven they can do it consistently. So again, I do not envy Mike Hazen's position right now. This has got to be so tough because you know they have it in them. But at the same time, you have to make moves. But you still have like a week. Like, what if they rattle off a win streak? Then what do we do? What do we just sit here and say? We don't know what to do.
Yeah. Gino Suarez. You mentioned since the start of 24, Gino Suarez has been
second half of 2024.
Second half of 24, but I'll give you the whole year. Okay.
Do it.
255 games in an Arizona Diamondbacks uniform. This guy is a 6.5 win player by BWAR. And in 255 games, he has 65 homers and 186 driven in. This guy, in November of 2023, was acquired by Arizona for Sebi Zavala and Carlos Vargas. Sorry, Mariners fans.
Sorry, Mariners fans. That's tough to hear. It's tough to hear because, right, I'm doing my TikTok lives and we're talking deadline. Mariners fans need Gino back. I'm talking about it in the Discord too. Gino's number one on their wish list. They need him back, and I understand why, but it's going to take a lot more than the package that Arizona sent you. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, 100%. All right, we're going to get to Peter's first clump, but before that, I do want to tell you about our friends at Ethos Life Insurance, because when you lose someone close to you, you can't help but think about the future. The last thing you want your family to worry about is how they're going to pay the bills. And with life insurance from Ethos, your family is protected. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not in months. No complicated process. It's 100% online. No medical exam required. Just answer a few health questions. You can get a quote in as little as 10 minutes, and you can get same-day coverage without ever leaving your house. Life insurance is more affordable than you think. With Ethos, you can get a free quote and customize a rate that fits your budget. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies as low as $2 a day, billed monthly. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/justbaseball. That's Ethos, ethos.com/justbaseball. You go.
I go. And we talk Yankees versus Braves. Game 1, Braves win 7-3. This game was over by the bottom of the third inning as the Braves jumped all over Ian Hamilton for 3 in the first, and then Ozzie Albies hit a 3-run jack to give the Braves a 6-0 lead. Now, the Yankees did have a 3-run seventh, highlighted by a Stanton 2-run double, but it just wasn't enough as Spencer Strider was Spencer freaking Strider. 6 innings of shutout baseball. Only 3 hits allowed with 8 strikeouts. His ERA is down to 3.59. And I'm not going to lie to you, Jack. There was a part of me after that game thinking to myself, having a little bit of Diamondbacks blood in me. Like, oh no, what if this team goes crazy in the second half? Because that really felt like a big-time Braves win.
Yeah.
But this is the 2025 Braves because they went on to lose the next 2. Game 2, Yankees win 12-9. Similarly to Game 1, the Braves got out to a big lead early, leading 5-0 after 4 innings, highlighted by home runs from Michael Harris and Ozzie Albies again. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, here come the Braves. But this time, the Yankees would not be denied. Volpe homered in the 5th to narrow the lead. And then in the 6th, rallied for 4 runs, pulling within 1. Olsen drove home the Braves' 8th run after the rally, but Cody Bellinger grabbed it back with a dinger. And then Volpe homered for the 2nd time, tying the game. Then in the 9th, Trent frickin' Grisham rocked a grand slam, giving the Yankees the lead and eventually the win. Now, Will Warren got crushed for the Yankees, but shout out Joey Wentz. 4 shutout innings was impressive, but the Braves bullpen just completely blew it. And you could ask yourself, all right, game 3, we lost. If you're a Braves fan, we lost game 2, got to win game 3. Yankees win 4-2. Judge opened the scoring with his 36th home run of the year, and then Goldie drove home the 2nd on an RBI single. Vivas got hit by a pitch in the 6th, scoring a run, and they needed it, as Olsen and Acuna homered late, but a Jazz Chisholm RBI double gave them some breathing room. Shout out Marcus Stroman, 6 innings, a 1-run ball, 3.00 ERA over 4 starts since he returned from the IL. I got to say it. I still believe in Anthony Volpe. I don't care what anybody says. I've said it before. I'm going to say it 1,000 times. He's Dansby Swanson. Look at Dansby Swanson's early years. He was the number 1 overall pick, got traded. Not a great start to his career, even over a few years. But he got better and better and better. And I'm the only Yankee fan on earth left who still believes in Anthony Volpe. I don't care. I will stand by him.
Okay.
Don't read me the stats.
Yeah, I'm typically with you. You didn't give me enough time to go on Fangraphs.
Okay, good.
I'm scrolling on Fangraphs right now. Here's my thing. I'm with you on Volpe. I think that he's a fine major league shortstop, and I think Yankee fans are brutal to him.
Brutal. You know what's so funny? At the All-Star game, a lot of people came up to us, and they were all great, and some of them were Yankee fans, and we'd start talking about the Yankees a little bit. And they would say, why do you still believe in Volpe? And I'm like, why don't you? And then they tell me about the season that we're all watching. And I'm like, well, you make a lot of good points. I'm watching the same Anthony Volpe that you are. But it might just be a down year. It might be a down first half, right? We're hitting multiple home runs in the second half. What, a guy can't have a bad first half? He's still a good defender, even though I know he hasn't been a good defender this year, but I know he still is. And A-Rod talking about how he shouldn't pull fly balls. Like, A-Rod, what are you talking about?
No,
yes,
A-Rod was being silly. If you want to hear a good rant that like actually makes a lot of sense, it was Frank Thomas on the White Sox postgame show the other day.
Yeah.
He's
got the number 1 fly ball rate of all time.
I know, but like, okay, so you're a victim of the headline here. What he was saying is stop trying to like get under a baseball because that's going to result in bad swings. Cut 100%. The ball in half. He's saying I'm sick of hearing guys saying they're trying to put the ball in the air. Of course you're trying to cut the ball in half. Attack liners, you're under it a little bit. It's going to go. That's how you hit homers. But A-Rod saying he can't pull fly ball.
That he should just be some slap hitter and bunt the ball a ton. It's like, no,
also,
he shouldn't. You're turning him into a different player than he is.
Yeah. Score 1 for Peter. Anthony Volpe grading out far superior to Dansby Swanson defensively by DRS and OAA through his front 3 seasons.
It's interesting. You know,
it is
hard being right all the time.
Couple of takeaways. Couple of takeaways on this.
You see Will Wagner lately? You see Will Wagner lately?
You see Caminero in the Derby and the All-Star game?
And then ever since the All-Star break, and it hasn't skipped a beat. He backspins balls like Acuna.
He also just gets into his A swing, and when he connects, oh my God.
I know. But that's my Yankees takeaway. I'm not giving up on Anthony Volpe. Yankee fans, you shouldn't either. He's our shortstop. Let's get behind him. Needs a little bit of confidence. He's 24 years old. Give him a second.
Yeah. So my takeaways from this series, I got 2 of them. Number 1, Will Warren's hand is apparently fine. him punching the roof of the dugout and then looking at his hand for the next inning.
Not ideal.
Floored me. Yeah, absolutely floored me. Devin Williams is your teammate. You should know at this point. Number 2, this Braves bullpen, oh my gosh. I can't hear it. For some reason, your mic muted it. I'll try now. Could you hear that?
I couldn't hear that either.
Dude,
so for anybody wondering, we're doing fart sounds for this Braves bullpen. You know, like, are they even going to get a good package for Raisel Iglesias? Are they going to get a package for Pierce Johnson?
They're not. They can't even trade those guys.
Why not?
Rysell's probably making too much money.
So you just got to hold on to him.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the Braves, again, another thing that we were talking about in the Discord. People were like, who's the most disappointing team? And I said, it's the Braves by far. I mean,
By a
they came into
million.
the season with the second highest win total of any team, favored to win the National League East when you have an electric Phillies team and a great Mets team, and the Braves were priced as the favorite, and deservedly so. This has just been a season from hell. From hell.
Somebody would take on Rysell. He's expiring this year. He's making 16. So they'll
Yeah.
owe him about 5. So they'll take on Rysell. But yeah, it has been a season from hell. I'm with you. Okay, give me the next series.
Next series up, we got the Giants taking on the Jays. The Jays are the hottest team in baseball. Well, maybe besides the Brewers. Definitely the hottest team in the American League. Game one, Blue Jays win 4-0. They scored all 4 runs in the second on RBI hits from Joey Loporfito, Will Wagner, and Nathan
Sorry, what were
Lucas.
you saying?
I
I
said
was
Will
just staring into
Wagner.
the ether. Yeah.
And that was basically it. Chris Bassett was in and out of trouble all day, magically avoided damage. 6 1/3, 10 hits, no earned, 5 strikeouts. And his counterpart, Justin Verlander, did not survive 3 full innings, getting bounced with 9 hits and 4 earned runs. But shout out Tristan Beck for filling in, tossing 4+ innings, of 1 hit baseball. We'll move on to game 2. Jays win 6-3. I mean, this is just the year of Eric Lauer. This is the year of the Toronto Blue Jays dicing. Took a perfect game into the 5th, but Willy Adames broke the scoring open with a home run. The Giants put up one more in the 6th, but that was the last time they led. And the Jays were aggressive against Webb, putting runners on constantly, and then the floodgates just finally open in the 6th as Heineman, Wagner, and Ernie Clement all drove in runs to give Toronto the lead, and they never looked back. Now, Willy Adames hit homer again late, but a Taylor Heineman home run in the 8th was the dagger. Game 3, Jays win 8-6. Both teams trade runs in the first, highlighted by a Vladdy ding-dong, his 13th. Only 13 home runs for Vladdy. He's having a good year. His OPS is above 800, but 13 home runs, we need to see him enter a power surge in the second half. And then after that homer, the Jays just took control. Bichette drove home 2 in the 3rd. Then in the 5th, Springer and Barger homered as part of a 4-run inning, and that was all they needed. Now, the Giants would battle back, highlighted by a Matt Chapman home run, but it just wasn't enough. The freaking Toronto Blue Jays just don't lose. They're firing on all cylinders. This back end bullpen has just been unheard of. They're getting solid starting pitching performances, but it's everybody in the lineup. Everybody's doing their job. And we just talked about this a few episodes ago. I said what will continue to propel the Blue Jays and keep them at the top of the American League East. George Springer, Addison Barger, because we know Bichette, Vladdy, they're going to hit, right? The role players are going to do their jobs. But can those two guys be true difference makers in the lineup versus just solid hitters? And they've just, as soon as the breaks ended, they're right back to just hitting bombs. Barger hits everything hard.
Yeah.
Springer is just putting up AB after AB. Just such a good team. And vibes are so high in Toronto. I love it.
Junior Caminero 121 WRC plus, Will Wagner 91 WRC plus. Wagner's
coming.
climb to 91 has been immaculate. He's still 30% worse than Caminero.
We're coming. Just saying.
Since the All-Star break, Junior Caminero has a 364 WRC
We're not talking
plus.
about the race.
Will Wagner has a 287 WRC plus. So Caminero still out WRC plusing Wagner over a 2-game sample.
All I'm saying is he's coming.
I don't think Caminero
He's
is
coming.
looking at his heels anymore.
I don't know. I'm just saying he's got him on the rear view. Objects in the mirror may be closer than they appear. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow, that's a bar.
That is a bar.
Did you make that up or did you get that from a car?
Definitely like it's on the cars. Or like it's a meme too. There's no way I made that
Kidding,
up.
dude.
Yeah, okay. Anything else on the Blue Jays? I mean,
No,
we
they're kind of a wagon right now. That's all I got.
could talk about the Giants. Yeah.
They have identity problems.
Here's the thing with the Giants. Nobody in their lineup is hot at the right time or at the same time, right? It started with Wilmer Flores and Matt Chapman, and then Matt Chapman gets injured, and Jung Hoo Lee had a little stretch there. And then you get Devers, and he doesn't get off to a good start. And then Willie Adames starts to heat up. But again, nobody else is. So it's like one guy in the lineup is providing all of the offense, and it's always a different guy, and none of them are doing it at the same time. So watching Giants baseball right now, they can't hit with runners in scoring position. They're still pitching fine. I mean, they ran into just the hottest team in baseball, so I'm not going to judge this pitching staff just on this series because they have been fantastic, both in the rotation and in the bullpen all season long. But the offense, they just have to click. And I am curious what Posey's going to do at the deadline because this team needs bats.
So, my thing on San Francisco, you have talked about the climb back to even at the blackjack table, right? You've had that
Oh,
where you
yeah.
go down quick and then you
Oh,
try
yeah.
and fight your way back to even.
I've been there plenty of times.
Willie Adames is really close to even. You see
I
what he's
know.
doing?
Yeah, he's won a bunch of hands in a row.
Willie Adames, number one, has a higher WRC plus than Mookie Betts, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Number two, Adames is at a 98 WRC plus and a 1.8 WAR. Like, there's a world where this season ends at a 108 to 110 WRC plus, and he's a 3-win shortstop, maybe even a 3.5-win shortstop.
And I really do think this is going to be the worst year for Adames in a Giants uniform.
I think so too.
Because how many times have we seen a big time free agent go to that team and then struggle in their first year? Happens all the time.
Happened to Trey Turner.
Happened to Francisco Lindor, right? So
Kind of happened to Harper.
exactly. It's happened to numerous guys. I mean, we could just go down a list naming all the stars when they first sign with a team and then don't get off to a great start. So if Willie Adames is a 3-win player this year with 25 home runs, you're not loving that. But if that's his worst year on your team, you feel pretty good about him moving forward. So, yeah, if I'm a Giants fan, I'm rooting for him the rest of the way. But in the back of my mind, knowing this is probably going to be his worst season with our club, and I can't wait for next year. And not to say that the Giants are punting this year. I'm more just talking about Willie Adames in a vacuum.
Yep. Let's go to New York, boss.
Let's go to New York. Reds versus the Mets. Game one. Reds win 8-4. Mets got out to a 2-0 lead early, highlighted by a Juan Soto dinger, but from there it was all Cincy. Hayes got the Reds going with a solo shot in the fourth, and then McClain gave them the lead with a 2-run shot in the fifth. Then in the sixth, Hayes showed up again with a dinger, and then Stevenson did the same, and that was all they needed. Now, Sean Manaea looked great, I thought. 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned, 6 Ks, but Lodolo was just a lot better. 7 innings, 2 earned, 7 punchies. ERA for Lodolo down to 3.33. Incredibly impressive. Moved to game two. Reds win 5-2. Same thing as game one. Mets got out to a 2-0 lead early, this time highlighted by a Brett Beatty home run. Shout out Brett Beatty. I see you heating up. And from there, it was all Reds. Reds scattered runs in the third, in the fourth, and then again in the sixth, highlighted by a 3-hit day from Jake Fraley. Now, the Mets had to win this one, and they did, winning 3-2. Back and forth game. Ellie gave the Reds a 1-0 lead early on an RBI single. Then Brandon Nimmo did the same in the third. Luis Hanel Acuna doubled to give the Mets the lead, but Spencer Steer tied it back up in the eighth with a bases loaded hit by pitch. Mets took the lead in the bottom half as Luis Torrens smacked one towards Matt McClain, threw home. Soto just beats the throw. Classic pitcher's duel between Andrew Abbott and David Peterson. Abbott, 6 innings, 2 runs. He does it every single start. His ERA is down to 2.13, but Peterson was just a little bit better. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 4 strikeouts. His ERA is down to 2.90. I don't know if you have takeaways on the Reds. One thing that I actually texted in the group chat, I got David Peterson wrong. Wrong.
Everybody did.
I was really anti David Peterson though. So maybe everybody did, but I'm calling myself out for that one. I thought there was a chance that he wouldn't even last year he was much better, but a few years ago I was like, this guy, I mean, what's the difference between him and Joey Lucchesi, who's now thrown in the bullpen for the Giants, right?
Right.
But David Peterson went from, I thought, outcast to legit all-star. And every single start, he comes out every fifth day. Throws strikes, weak contact, lethal against lefties. It's a weird delivery. Just been so good. Shout out David Peterson. I was wrong.
Big man, funky, all-star. Another all-star lefty, Abbott. I'm drunk on the Abbott juice right
He's a
now, dude.
dog. We've just talked about him so many times because every single weekend roundup, it's, oh, what did Abbott do? 6 innings, 1 run, 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 innings shutout. Doesn't matter. He
He's
just every
he's cool
so
because again,
consistent.
like the metrics are never gonna love him
Nope.
ever. And like chatting with him at All Star. If you guys didn't hear that little like best sounds of the All Star Week thing that I put together here, it was last Tuesday's pod. Yeah, it was last Tuesday's pod. If you guys didn't hear that, the conversation with Abbott was like so fun because it really implied that his success sits on fastball execution, and he said, "Well, time to make my fastball execution perfect every single time." And guess what he does every single time?
Yeah, every single time. Anything else on the Reds? I mean, it's exciting, right? This team, Pagan, had after he got out Juan Soto at the end of game 2, it was a great battle. Soto almost tied the game with a home run, but it just narrowly went foul. And Pagan, on the field in that kind of post game presser. What do they call that when you're not in the press room, but you're on the field? It's just a what?
Post game interview?
Post game interview. I thought there might have been a cool name for it when you're on the field versus in the
No,
press
your
room.
on-field interview, your
On
on-field
field it.
post-game interview.
I thought maybe you had like a cool nickname for it. Never mind.
Oh, you mean the OFPGI,
Yeah, the OFPGI.
the
So
off piggy, the on-field post-game interview?
so Pagan's off Piggy. He was basically saying that they made it a priority, like come out of the break hot and prove to this front office that they need to add pieces. And you could feel that energy. It felt like every game in this series felt like a playoff game for the Reds. And they were just doing all of the little things right. Now, in game 3, kind of came crashing down a little bit. And that's the Reds' problem. They can't string these consistent performances on all sides of the ball, and that's what's held them back a little bit. But this team should add. They can compete even in a really tough National League. They got the starting pitching. If you got a couple bullpen arms and you find a bat or two, this team can make a run. Now it's tough when the Brewers and the Cubs are just like the two best teams in baseball. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
But there's spots open in this wild card race. It's not like all these other teams have completely taken it over, and you just beat a team at home, arguably the best team in baseball at home this year. You went toe to toe with them and you won the series. We got to start getting serious in Cincy. And that's not something we always say about the Reds.
I love it. I also think Pagan's a dog.
He is a
Not just for
dog.
what he said, but he's a really good closer in
Yeah,
Major League
he
Baseball.
is good.
I greatly enjoy watching him pitch.
I agree, but I would like to see the Reds add a bullpen arm or two. It doesn't need to be a closer. Um, I'm fine with Pagan closing.
I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, I just have bigger aspirations for the Reds. Sue me. Sorry, Reds fans, I have bigger aspirations for you.
No, don't turn this on me. You're
It's your
telling
fault.
everybody that my bar is low
You
for
hate the
Cincinnati.
Reds.
No, I like them. That ballpark, dude. I like that ballpark a lot.
Great American
How
is
about an Old
fantastic.
Dominion concert on Getaway Day? We kind of cut it tight for the bus to the airport in Cincinnati because we were
Mm,
watching Old Dominion perform for a little bit. It was a good vibe.
I like that. The only bad part about Cincy is their Skyline Chili. And every single time I go to Cincy, I have an
Dude,
amazing time.
I got dragged. I was talking
Really?
about how I think it's akin to dog food. And our guy
Yeah.
Nick Kirby, who's the man, was just like, I was enjoying your broadcast until you just dragged Skyline Chili out of nowhere. And I had like 5 other people reach out and say, like, you were being mean about Skyline. It's not good.
They take it really seriously. And every single time I go there, I get approached by fans at Great American Ballpark. And they're like, have you had the chili? Have you had the Skyline Chili? And I was like, I already tried it, rated a 3 out of 10. I don't know why it's sweet. Why do you put cinnamon in it? And I'm sure there are going to be Reds fans in the comments like backing it up. That's your thing.
I
I'm
listen. I like
not for me.
LaRosa's. I like LaRosa's pizza. What else? Grater's is a sensational ice cream, like maybe the best ice cream in the world. So you can't drag me for Skyline. I like enough of your other stuff.
I know everything else is good. The baseball team is good. We're not Skyline Chili fans. I'm sorry if that makes you turn off the podcast forever, but we have to speak our truth. We
Whatever.
have to. Let's talk Angels Phillies before we lose every other Reds fan. I was very nice to the actual team, though, Reds fans. Give me a break. Angels versus Phillies. Angels win 6-5. How about those Angels? Schwarber and Soler traded home runs early, and then Harper and Adele did the same, but the Phillies held a 1-run lead. Trout tied it up in the 5th with an RBI single, and then Taylor Ward ripped the dagger with a 2-run shot in the 7th. Bryce Harper homered late, just wasn't enough. Move to game 2. Phillies bounce back, win 9-5. The Angels' home run party continued, though, as both Joe Adele, who we got to talk about in a minute, and Taylor Ward, who we also have to talk about in a minute, left the yard again, and Moncada, who I don't really need to talk about it in a minute, jumped in with one of his own, but the Phillies got the last laugh after being down 4-2 going into the bottom of the 6th. Rojas brought home the Phillies' 3rd run on a sac fly, and then Schwarber gave the Phillies a 3-run lead on a grand salami. I feel like I remember doing the top 100 and feeling like I'm crazy because I rank Kyle Schwarber in my top 100. And there was 2 like brain dead guys I was talking to on the show. I forget their names. They were pretty forgettable guys talking about how Schwarber doesn't deserve Jack. For all those listening on audio, Jack just left the Zoom. So it's just me for now. Let's talk about how Kyle Schwarber is 100% a top 100 player. Grand slam. Harper homered again in the 8th for good measure. Game 3. Angels win 8-2. Is he back yet? Nope. He's just poking out. Sorry that you got sensitive. Sorry that Schwarber is obviously a top 100 player and you can't handle it. Move to game 3. Move to
My
game
ego
3.
is way too big for you to do this to me.
Move to game 3. Angels win 8-2. Angels came out hot, putting up 5 runs in the 2nd to basically put away this Phillies team, highlighted by a bases clearing double from frickin' Taylor Ward. Over 70 RBIs for Ward this season. Phillies kind of battled, highlighted by an Otto Kemp home run, but Lamont Wade homered as the Angels tacked on a few more, and this thing was over. Jose Soriano just keeps the ball on the ground. 7 innings, 2 earned, 5 Ks. ERA is down to 3.83. Ranger Suarez's 12-start streak of 3 runs or less came to an end as he allowed 6 earned in 4 1/3. I want to talk about Taylor Ward, but how about frickin' Joe Adele? Joe Adele, and I'm just pulling up the stats here too because I don't want to misquote how good he has been this season. We're up to 21 home runs on the year for him and 806 OPS. He's not grading out defensively, well defensively in the outfield, but I'm going to choose not to believe that because I'm drunk on the Joe Adele Kool-Aid. I just think to myself, all right, 26 years old, it ain't over yet. Sometimes guys develop a little bit later, and Joe Adele always had it in him. He was always this freakish player who struck out too much. He looked disengaged. He just looks like he didn't really know how to play baseball. And now, this is a baseball player. And I'm just so excited for him because I always knew it was in there. It was just about him developing and unlocking this power speed combo. And again, I think to myself, Aaron Judge, rookie year, 26. Jacob deGrom, when did he break out? 26 years old. There's plenty of stories in Major League Baseball of guys just blooming late. And Joe Adele feels just like a late bloomer. But Joe Adele, I'm glad you're here because this is awesome to watch.
I'm really glad he's here too. It's cool because there are so many glaring aspects of his game that are still a work in progress. He's not a very good defender. You think he can get better. He's only 26 years old. He's still like fully in the midst of his physical peak. He's got 4 or 5 years.
He's got the speed. He's got the arm.
Yeah,
He's got
he
to be
can
better.
get better defensively.
Yes.
He can walk a little bit more.
Yep.
He's not really walking. He's well below major league average in terms of walk rate, and he still has a 126 WRC plus.
Yeah.
If this guy finishes this year as a 2.5 win player and an objectively bad defender, why can't he be a 3.5 win player and an okay defender next year? And then after that, in his age 28 season, why can't he be a 4.5 win player and a good defender?
That's what
There's
I'm
a
saying.
lot of meat left on the bone with Joe Adele.
Couldn't agree more.
I will wear the L like Kevin in the Queen Jellyfish SpongeBob episode. I'll blow the loser whistle. Kyle Schwarber's a top 100 player in baseball. That guy's a freak. He does one thing really well, and he's maybe the best on the planet at doing it.
He's the man.
I'm also ready to stamp, and I know he's within the division, so it hurts. But Bryce Harper is my 27th favorite player in baseball. The top 26 are every single guy on the Marlins active roster.
Okay.
So my favorite non-Marlin is Bryce Harper. That guy is cold in the best way.
Oh, God, he's good. See that homer that he hit when he went like 6 balls above the zone and just somehow got on top of it and just rifled that liner. I think it was game one or maybe it was
It
game
was game
two.
one. It was Friday.
Game
And
one
then
was Friday.
Saturday, he sent a moonshot into the seats in
Yeah.
right center.
He's, he's the man. He's the man. And Dombrowski has to be watching this and be like, this is great, but Harper's not going to be this elite for that much longer. Wheeler, we got a year and a half, 2 years with him. I'm 68 years old. I got 2 more years left on the contract, then I'm 70. I want the Phillies to go all in. All in. I know Buxton said, you can't trade for me. Call. I don't care. See what it will take. Maybe even overpay a little bit. This Phillies team has what it takes to go win the World Series, but they're not going to win the World Series unless Dave Dombrowski goes all in. And the window is closing. But right now, the window is wide open. They're blowing the doors off the window. You can go do it. Dombrowski, though, we got to be on the phone. We got to be on the phone.
I think the Dodgers are shaking in their shoes right now.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at what Philadelphia is doing.
I agree. You could make, well, no. Phillies aren't better than the Cubs and the Brewers right now. The Tigers are still
I
great.
think the Cubs and Brewers are shaking in their shoes right now with what Philadelphia is doing.
I don't think the Brewers are shaking at
you
all.
put them in a postseason series, dude.
I agree about that. I'm just saying right now, both of those teams are locked in on each other. I don't think they're thinking about Philly.
Oh, no, they're not thinking about
Yes.
Philly right now. But you tell me that Philly matches up with one of those teams in the DS.
We got Wheeler going game.
Nightmares.
We got Wheeler going game one, Sanchez going game two, Ranger going game three. We'll take on anybody.
Come on. And Luzardo game 4? Come on, man.
We'll take it.
Dude.
And then we got Bryce Harper and Schwarber, and we got a ton of Bobs. I mean, they could do some serious damage. But unfortunately, I also missed this. Alec Boehm just hit the IL.
Yeah.
Gino Suarez? No, Diamondbacks are buyers.
No.
All right. Orioles versus Rays is my next series up. Game one, Rays went 11-1. A boat race. All the Rays needed to win this game was Junior Camanero's 3-run home run in the first inning as Taj Bradley was just dicing. 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned, 1 walk, 6 punchies. Danny Jansen homered. Yandy Diaz hit a grand slam, and Junior added another one, his 25th of the season. He's a pretty good ball player. He's no Wagner, but he's decent. God, I was so wrong. Charlie Moore did have a fun time in Tampa, allowing 7 earned over 5+ innings. Game 2, Rays win 4-3. Orioles got out to a 2-0 lead, and Dean Kramer dominated over 7 innings. But an 8th inning comeback by the Rays gave Tampa another win. Chandler Simpson started the 8th with an RBI single, and then Aranda grounded it to first, and O'Hearn bounced the throw home, allowing 2 to score, and that was all they needed because Zach frickin' Littell, just downright solid. Just a lunch pail guy. 6 innings, 2 earned, 3 Ks. Not punching guys out, just getting outs. ERA down to 3.53. Moved to game 3. Orioles win 5-3. Jackson Holliday opened the game with his 13th home run of the year. So before I continue, I sent this again in the Discord, and I said when I watch Jackson Holliday, that's an 850 OPS guy. And then I look at the stats and it says 715. I'm like, what? I think I just catch Jackson Holliday on all of his good days.
So what I will tell you after just seeing him in person for the first time right before the All-Star break, watching him up close take batting practice, number one, there are some big boys on that team. Kobe Mayo's huge. If you don't know, he's a huge human being. Gunnar is bigger than you would expect, and it looks like Gunner's a big guy. Jackson Holliday is a big kid. Arms are huge. I was really impressed, and I'm impressed by the way that Jackson Holliday commands his at-bats. This is going to be the worst year of Jackson Holliday. This guy is getting better and better. He is just scratching the surface of who he is as a baseball player.
You can tell he has freakish moments, but probably the reason he's got a 715 OPS is because the bad moments are bad. And I'm talking offensively at the plate, right? But he'll hit that home run and then, just not have a great follow-up to that. But let's keep talking about this game. So again, Holliday started off the game with his 13th home run of the year, and then Alex Jackson followed it up with his first home run of the year. Were you expecting the Alex Jackson revenge game?
Mm-hmm.
Me too. And then Gunnar drove in 2 on an RBI double, and that was all they needed. Now, the Rays battled back here, highlighted by another Danny Jansen home run. Brian O'Hearn answered with a home run of his own in the 6th, and this game was over. How about Trevor Rogers? Just keeps on shoving. 6 innings, 2 earned, 3 Ks. ERA is down to 1.74. He joins my king, John Means, in 2021 as the only Orioles starter to post a 1.75 ERA or lower through their first 7 starts since 2008. Now, I know that's kind of an ESPN type stat, like
I
that's
love it.
really
It's Kirk
specific.
Jenny and it's perfect.
But the reason I wanted to bring it up has been so cool to watch him shove because, gets traded for a good package. And obviously, Kyle Stowers is an all-star. He's, one of the best hitters in all of baseball
He's
right
sixth in
now.
baseball in WRC plus, by the way.
Exactly. Like Connor Norby came over, originally started off well. He's kind of subsided lately, but he's still a fine player. And Orioles fans were like, we get Trevor Rogers pitching in the minors. Is he ever going to help? And now he's up and he looks like that rookie of the year or second in rookie of the year voting with the Miami Marlins when he first started. I mean, this guy's a real pitcher. Like Mike Elias, I'm not a huge fan of him as a GM, but he's not an idiot. Like he saw a guy that he believes in, and it's got to feel good for him to feel like he's getting proven right here.
I've heard enough good things about Mike Elias, the executive, to know that he's not an idiot.
No,
So,
he's definitely not an idiot.
no,
Knows what he's doing.
he's good at what he does. Unfortunately, I don't know who's setting the constraints, but it feels like they were working through constraints this
Yeah.
offseason.
100%, which they shouldn't be.
I know, but also like just the handling of even a Mayo, like a handling of a Kobe Mayo right now is confusing the crap out of me. I don't really understand. A Basayo, I don't really understand. But then again, we ran into this with Stowers and Norby and Kerstad and Chase McDermott. Like the list goes on. Joey Ortiz, DL Hall. Guys, it's weird. It's like this soft launch into this major league career, and then all of a sudden, if they're not a 900 OPS guy, they just don't really stick.
Yeah. One last thing on the Rays. Their rotation is just, I mean, every day,
Diabolical.
every day someone's coming out and throwing well. They're not the biggest names. And I know Ryan Pepiot struggled in that game 3, but he's still got an ERA in the mid threes. Shane Baz, not the greatest start, but he's been the worst of all of them. 4.17 ERA. Drew Rasmussen with the Joe Boyle piggyback. I love that. Taj Bradley, we know what he can be when he's on, like he was against the Orioles. And then Zach Littell is just as solid as they come.
Lunch
Like
pail.
there's not nearly there's not many rotations that are as deep as Tampa Bay, and we just get continued good news about Shane McClanahan progressing in his rehab as well. This Rays rotation, watch out.
I will say, I thought I saw his rehab start in Durham. He didn't get out of the first inning.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I'll tell you right now. Shane McClanahan, as I search, made a rehab start in Durham over the weekend, and McClanahan's line in that rehab start. Yeah, got 2 outs, 3 hits, 3 runs, allowed 2 homers, walked 1 and K'd 1. He threw 27 pitches, 12 for strikes. So, hoping for a bounce back rehab start, and then
But he's
McClanahan
on the
can be
mound.
back for the October push.
He's on the mound. I think that's
Yeah,
what
he's
matters.
on the mound.
Like,
That's the biggest thing.
who cares what his stat line looks like? He's going to be totally fine. It's his first start back after not pitching for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to my final 5 series, a quick reminder, if you are enjoying the Just Baseball Show, the best way to support the Just Baseball Show without spending a dime, rate and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, 5 stars, as well as subscribing, liking, and commenting on YouTube. And if you do want to spend a couple shekels, go get yourself some Just Baseball merch. I'm rocking the hat. I'm rocking the athletic tee. Jack's rocking nothing because he doesn't care about the company. And if you want to join the best baseball group chat in the world, trade deadline season is right here. We're here, folks. It's only $10 a month, less than a price of a sandwich to join the best baseball group chat in the world. And right now I'm stalling. Jack left it again. Now he's finally going to put on the Just Baseball hat. Look at that. Look how handsome he looks. Kind
Yeah,
of.
but I like my Cowboy Snoopy hat. Keep going.
It was on your head for maybe 4 seconds.
It made the YouTube.
It
Keep going.
made the YouTube. Ben, make that one of the pictures on the thumbnail. But before we get to the 5 series again, our last break. Next series up, A's versus Guardians. Game 1, Guardians win 8-6. While the final score implies a close game, this one really wasn't. It was 7-0 Guardians after 4 innings as Jonathan Rodriguez and David Fry both homered, and Brian Rocchio rocked a 2-run double. A's would start to claw back as Rooker and Langeliers homered, and then both had extra base hits that drove in runs, as did Andujar, but it wasn't enough. Slade Ciccone had a pre-1900 stat line in this one, 8 and a third, 8 hits, 6 earned with 2 strikeouts, but most of the damage really came in the ninth inning. So that's not really fair, but I did think it was a funny stat line. Game 2, A's win 8-2. Guardians 2 runs came first as Jose Ramirez homered for the 19th time this season. I think, did he hit his 20th? I don't think he hit his 20th home run yet, but it'll be his 5th consecutive season of 2020 at least once he does so.
He hit
But
19.
yeah, he's at 19. From there, it was all A's. Langeliers, Wilson, and Kurtz all homered, and both Kurtz and Langeliers also had RBI doubles. We moved to game 3. Guardians win 8-2. Cleveland got out to a hot start, putting up 5 in the first 4 innings, highlighted by multiple David Fry RBI hits. Angel Martinez homered in the 7th, and then drove in a run in the 8th. And Gavin freaking Williams. I did call you brain dead earlier in this podcast. Now I'm going to glaze you because you were spot on with Gavin Williams before the season started. 7 innings, only 1 earned on 4 hits, 11 punchouts. His ERA is down to 3.54. Really impressive arm for the Guardians. Good. I mean, they need one.
Yeah, they
I mean,
really
Bobby
need
is,
one.
of course, great, but with Luis Ortiz on leave right now, Slade Ciccone has been good, but you
Yeah, but
need
I
to
mean, he
see a
just threw
lot
like Robin
more.
or Old Hoss. I think Old Hoss is probably the better example.
But even before that start,
Yeah, no,
Ciccone has
Ciccone
been
was
good. It's
fine.
just not a big enough sample to be like, oh yeah, Ciccone is awesome, right? We
No,
need to see a lot more.
Gavin Williams, I viewed as like the premier X factor for the Cleveland Guardians. Huge weekend from Rocchio getting the WRC plus up to 54. That was big.
Huge.
Jose Ramirez is the quietest 4.1 F4 player that we have in Major League Baseball. It's funny because I've almost gotten upset with the number of times I've heard that Jose Ramirez is the most underrated player of baseball. But then I looked and he's 6th in baseball in WAR, and
And
he's got an
nobody's talking
890
about it.
OPS, and he's got 19 homers and 29 bags.
Nobody's talking about it. So yeah, he just is. That's just what he is. He's the most underrated player in baseball. He's top 10 every year, but he's never top 5. So you're like, he doesn't get, he's not in conversations with the judges and the Otanis of the world,
But he's
but
6th. Like
he's always right there.
I mean, dude, he's got the same WAR as Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's nothing negative to say about Jose Ramirez. True 5-tool player, just an all around game, and is going to be headed straight for Cooperstown once it's all said and done.
It seems like he's tracking that way.
Absolutely. Anything else on the series?
No, I'm good.
Um, Quick update for all those on BetMGM. Nick Kurtz and Jacob Wilson, co-leaders for American League Rookie of the Year. They've taken a decent lead over Cam Smith, and then Roman Anthony is a distant 4th right now. But the A's have the 2 frontrunners, Nick Kurtz and Jacob Wilson.
So I don't think they would get a pick for either of them.
I don't know how that works.
I don't think they would get a pick because Kurtz, I'll pull up his debut. I really don't think they would because Wilson was up last year. He debuted on April 23rd. They might get a pick for Kurtz. We'll see at PPI. I got to check the date.
We'll get back
circle back in like 3 months.
We'll circle back. All right,
Yeah.
let's move over to Red Sox versus Cubs. Cubs win 4-1 in game 1. Seiya Suzuki's 3-run home run in the first was all the Cubs needed to seal the win, as Colin Ray allowed just 1 run through 5 innings, and then the bullpen shut it down. Seiya Suzuki, talking about underrated players this year, should have been an all-star. This guy just keeps mashing. Had a day, going 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Game 2, Cubs win 6-0. Shota Imanaga was masterful in this one, tossing 7 shutty, striking out 5, only walking 1. His ERA is down to 2.40. Michael Busch, another underrated bat. Kyle Tucker, properly rated as one of the best players in baseball, homered in the first, and then Shaw, PCA, and Ian Happ all homered late. Just domination from start to finish. But the Red Sox had the last laugh, winning 6-1 in game 3. The Cubs' only run came first on an Ian Happ RBI single, but then the Red Sox finally broke it open in the 7th as Cade Horton dominated for 5 2/3. Willier homered to take the lead, and then Bregman pinch hit in the 8th, rocked a 3-run jack, and then Willier homered again, his 20th of the season. Now, Crochet, I thought this was a great start, not because he was amazing, right? 6 innings, a 1-run ball with 8 hits and 5 strikeouts. That's not a good start for him these days. But he didn't have his best stuff. And the Cubs are so freaking elite. And you're in Wrigley. to get out of damage like that when the umpire was screwing him a little bit. I watched every out of that start. I thought that was one of his more impressive outings, feeling like he didn't have his best stuff, knowing you're on the road in Wrigley, knowing how good the Cubs offense is, knowing the umpire isn't giving you any breaks, and it was still 6 innings, 1 run. Shout out Garrett Crochet. That's a true ace right there.
So I have the answer now. I'm not circling back in 3 months.
Okay.
Jacob Wilson is eligible for the PPI in 25 because he had service in 24. Kurtz was called up too late. He did not accrue 172 days, so he was not eligible to get the A's a pick in
Okay.
2025. So there's your
Wilson.
answer.
So if Wilson wins, they get a pick. If Kurtz wins, they don't.
Wilson wins or finishes as the runner-up, they get a pick. Kurtz wins or finishes as a runner-up, he gets a full year, and they don't get a pick.
Interesting. So the A's are rooting for Jacob Wilson to win
They're rooting
the
for
rookie of the year.
Wilson to win it, and they're rooting for Cam Smith to finish in second.
They're probably rooting for Nick. Do you think is
I would
John
think so.
actually
No, I mean,
John Fisher? What is he actually rooting for?
I don't know, but based on the contractual
Yeah.
language, you'd be rooting for Cam Smith to finish second.
And it is a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What do you got here?
Crochet's a dog, man.
Dog.
He's kind of cheat code-ish. He's entering that level of cheat code for me. There are a few guys that are just stoppers in Major League Baseball right now. The Twins are really bad 4 out of 5 days. And then Joe Ryan's on the mound. Joe Ryan's a stopper for me. The Red Sox are hot as hell. They somehow get hotter than the surface of the sun when Garrett Crochet is on the mound. If they were on a skid, Crochet's going to stop that. So
Yep.
for me, the two hottest stoppers in baseball right now, outside of Skeens and Skubal, are Joe Ryan and Garrett Crochet.
And Wheeler. But
And
I
Wheeler.
understand what you're kind of saying about stopper, like when you need a win, and the Phillies haven't exactly like needed a win lately. If that makes sense. Is that what you're
Right.
talking about?
No, yeah, I mean, like Detroit's lost 6 in a row. They're playing right now. Skubal just went 6 2/3 a 1-run ball with 11 Ks. That's what
11.
I mean by stopper.
He had 11 Ks.
Yeah.
I've Crochet to lead the league in Ks at 11-1. I really was hoping he would just.
Skubal, we're tracking. I mentioned it to Jeff Nelson on the broadcast today. Skubal could be the first back-to-back unanimous Cy Young Award winner since Pedro in the American League, and the only one since Pedro.
But you got Crochet on his tail, so we'll see.
Skubal's kind of running his own race right now.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Cubs. It's weird. You know, we dropped the Brewers TikTok about how they can win the division. You know, posted about how it was tied on Twitter. Cubs fans almost don't know how to act. They're not respecting the Brewers at all. Or at least on social media. Again, these are social media comments. But a lot of them are very disrespectful of the Brewers. Cubs fans, don't do that. That's bad karma. Don't disrespect the Brewers like this, calling it all luck that it's going to run out soon. This Brewers team is real. Now, I understand you're playing great baseball. You're worried about yourself, right? All you can do is win every day, and you're basically doing that. But the Brewers never lose. They've won 10 straight. Let's talk about their series right now. Game 1, Brewers win 2-0. Caleb Durbin provided the offense for the Brew Crew, driving home the first run on a double and then homering in the 7th. And that was all Quinn Priester needed. He tossed 6 shutout innings, only allowing 3 hits, striking out 10, lowering his ERA to 3.33. Talk about a trade. Talk about Milwaukee. God, they're just so smart. Glasnow was also fantastic. It's just Dodgers didn't score. 6 innings, 1 earned, 6 Ks. His ERA is down to 3.10. Welcome back, Tyler Glasnow. I know he's been back for a few starts now, but this really felt like, all right, I'm back. Game 2, Brewers went 8-7. Game started hot. Both teams put up 4 runs apiece in the 3rd inning. Then the Brewers started it off, highlighted by a 2-run double by William Contreras. And then on the Dodgers side, Ohtani homered. Teoscar drove in a run on a double. From there, Brewers never relinquished the lead, highlighted by home runs from Isaac Collins and Joey Ortiz. Now, Tommy Edman did homer late for the Dodgers, but it just wasn't enough in Game 3. Brewers ain't supposed to win this game. It's the Los Angeles Dodgers at home. You don't sweep the Dodgers at home. But here comes Milwaukee. Dodgers broke the scoring open in the 3rd, highlighted by a Shohei Ohtani Oppo missile. You see that home run by chance?
Yeah.
Oh, what a pitch. It's a good pitch from Quintana. Just rifled it out. He didn't have a bad start, though. 6 innings, 4 earned, but the Brewers tied it right back up, right? So the Dodgers got a lead, highlighted by Ohtani Oppo missile. Brewers tied it back up, though, some suspect Dodgers defense in the top of the fourth. But then Esteury Ruiz, yes, Esteury Ruiz is on the Dodgers, if you didn't know, gave the lead back in the fifth, his first home run of the year. But then the Brewers clawed back. Eric Haas tied it, and then Isaac Collins drove in two on an RBI single. Dodgers rally late. Andrew Vaughn drops the ball from Joey Ortiz, a nasty defensive play at 6-5. Abner Uribe closes the door. Brewers win. Brewers sweep. 10 in a row. Cubs. It's tied up now. Now, again, I think the Cubs are amazing. They're still my favorite watch in baseball. I love the Cubs. They're doing nothing wrong. All I'm saying is, as a man who has made mistakes with karma before, I'm telling you, don't go on social media shit talking them. Don't say the luck's going to run out. It's not a good look. I'm telling you, the baseball gods are watching. I'm telling you that from experience. I've learned my lesson. Actually, sometimes I still don't even learn my lesson, but I'm trying to tell you, don't do it. Don't go to Twitter arguing with them. Give them praise. Brewers, you guys are doing amazing. This is going to be an amazing race. I hope one of us wins. Be cordial.
From afar, I'm rooting for Milwaukee.
Are you?
I'm
I've
just
got to root.
watching what they do.
I don't know who to root for. I'm
I
just rooting
freaking
for
love their
amazing.
vibe.
I cannot. Oh, this is going to be such a good race. I'm so glad this is happening.
I'm glad it's happening too. I just love the grit that Pat Murphy has these guys playing with every day. And the Priester Renaissance is so good for my soul. You have no idea. Like, it's so good. This guy's an elite ground ball pitcher.
Elite ground ball pitcher.
He's up there with Webb and Fromber. Honestly, I'm not.
Needs more time to prove it.
No,
but
I know.
Right
but
now,
like, the ground
right
ball
now.
rate this
Yes.
year is up there with Webb and Fromber.
Yeah, let me check it. I think it's above 60.
It is.
Yeah, let me just get an exact number for you. So Quinn Priester's ground ball rate, no, it's not 60. It's 57.3%, but that's elite. That's what Framber's is.
Yeah, among pitchers with, let's go 70 innings. Among pitchers with 70 innings, Jose Soriano, number one, Palante, two, Fromber, 60, Sanchez, 58, Priester, 58, Clay Holmes is 55, Logan Webb is 52. Come on, man. He's right there with Fromber and Christopher Sanchez.
If you were to explain the Brewers to someone who doesn't watch baseball and you had to use another sport to define them, what team would you go with? I have my answer, but I am actually curious. Or you want me to start with mine? Like, is there a team in another? So they remind me, again, without the championships, the Tim Duncan Spurs. Like, it feels like just every single player from 1 to 9 on the 1 to 9 in the starting lineup to the bench pieces, just like the Spurs did. I remember the Boris Diaw days. Yeah. Like, everyone does their part. There's nobody super flashy. You know, they don't got a Tatis. They don't got an Ohtani. They don't got a Judge. They don't have an Acuna. But every single person is above average. They're well coached. They play great defense. Their bullpen is exceptional. They're making the right moves every day. They can mix and match in the lineup. They just, if you're not ready to play baseball, play the game of baseball, the Brewers are going to beat you. And this is a wake-up call for the Dodgers now. And I was listening to the post-game on the Dodgers channel, and Jerry Harrison Jr., Dontrelle Willis were talking about it, and they think it's good for the Dodgers that this is happening to them right now. Because to get the best out of the Dodgers, you can't just coast. Like, I think the Dodgers almost even come out into the break. It was like, well, we're going to win the division. We're fine with the Dodgers. No. These teams are really good. And you can tell if you're not on your A game, the Brewers come into Dodger Stadium, to Chavez Ravine, and kick your ass. So this is a wake-up call for the Dodgers, and they face a Twins team coming up. This Twins team just played at Coors. They're stinking up the joint right now. You got Yamamoto versus SWR. Dodgers, you better boat race them. Now, Shout out the Twins. You know I'm a Twins believer, but Dodgers better boat race them. Like, have this be the wake-up call that Harrison Jr. and Dontrelle Willis were talking about, because I agree. But we really should just be applauding the Brewers more and more. I just don't know what else to say. I love them.
So, two comps that I have for you. One I don't love, but I'm okay with. One that I love. I view them as the Luke Fickell-led Cincinnati Bearcats from a couple of years ago, where they were knocking
I
on
don't
the
even
door
know
of the
who that
college
is.
football playoff, and they got there. And
Okay.
Ritter was their quarterback, right?
Mm.
Desmond Ritter, NFL caliber quarterback, playing at Cincinnati.
Was that
Okay,
Sauce Gardner?
yeah,
Okay.
Sauce Gardner were there. They have a Sauce Gardner in Freddie Peralta defensively. They have a Ritter in Jackson Chory or in Yelich offensively. But the comp that I love is Gonzaga. I
Mm.
think the Brewers are Gonzaga. They don't have the NIL budget of an ACC school or an SEC school or a Big Ten school, but at the end of the day, they kicked the WCC's ass every year. They were a 1 seed every year, and they were a threat to make it to the Elite Eight every year. And they always had one guy, Sabonis, Hachimura. Sometimes they were on the same team, Corey Kispert, Jalen Suggs. Like they always had two guys. And for me, watching Chorio, Yelich, Freddie, all these guys cycle through with a really good tone setter at the top in Pat Murphy, they, for me, are baseball's Gonzaga.
Gonzaga is a perfect comparison because Gonzaga and the Brewers haven't really won anything real. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love the Brewers. You
No,
hear me
it's
hyping
fine.
them up, but we got to go win a chip, Brewers. Got to
Yep.
go win a chip. Got to get out of the first round. This team can do it. They're dangerous. I'm so interested to see what they do at the deadline because they can trade big league pieces for big league pieces. They don't even need to reach into their farm because of how deep the rotation is. They don't really need out of the bullpen. Like, there's not a ton of holes you could say, well, shortstop is a hole. Joey Ortiz is not great offensively, but he's getting better and he's still such a wizard over there. And he just plays Brewers baseball, and I don't want to move off him. I'm still a Joey Ortiz guy. And Durbin, developing day over day.
Dude, he's hitting 372 over his last 30 games or something like that.
You know who could use him? The Yankees. They could use him. Obviously,
100%.
I don't mean that Brewers are trading Durbin to the Yankees. What I mean is he was obviously included in the Devin Williams trade. And now
Right.
the Yankees don't have a third baseman. Like, he
Right.
would be fucking perfect. I'm just watching him field ground balls and hit this weekend, and I'm like, damn it. Damn it. And I got to watch Devin Williams walk the tightrope every day. All right, let's move on to the Astros versus the Mariners. Great series, a battle.
Yeah.
Game one, Mariners win 6-1. This was all Mariners. As Castillo shut out the Astros over 6 2/3, and the Mariners supplied the bats. Randy and Mitch Garver homered early, and then a rally in the eighth sealed it. Stinks for Brandon Walter. Shoved 6 innings, a 1-run ball with only 3 hits allowed and 7 punchies. Game two, Mariners win 7-6 in 11 innings, one of the best games of the weekend. Both teams traded runs before the Mariners took a 4-1 lead in the bottom of the third, highlighted by a Dom Canzone 2-run double. Astros kept battling, tying the game up in the sixth, courtesy of a Victor Caratini RBI single, and then Christian Walker gave them the lead on an RBI single of his own. In the bottom of the eighth, Brian Abreu sent one to the backstop, allowing Randy to scamper home, and we go to extras. Both teams trade runs in the 10th, and then Cole Young stepped up in the 11th, ripped one down the line. Mariners win. Game three, Astros win 11-3. Looked like a Mariners sweep early. They got out to a 3-0 lead after 4 innings, but then the pounding started. Tied it back up in the fifth, and then Christian Walker and Taylor Trammell homered in the sixth, and then everyone just piled on. Caratini and Trammell both had 3 hits and 3 RBIs apiece, and Mauricio Dubon had a multi-hit day as well. Brown versus Wu, Hunter Brown, Brian Wu, supposed to be a pitcher's duel. But Brown allowed 3 runs, or 3 runs in 4 innings, and Wu allowed 5 in 6 innings. So coming to Seattle, Mariners need to make some noise. They do, winning 2 of 3. Isaac Paredes hit the IL hamstring injury. Not great, but the Astros have had injuries before, and they just slot a new guy in. And it was good to see the Astros really rebound here and really put a beat down on the Mariners. So you're not coming out of the break getting swept by your division rival. But then at the same time, the Mariners, like, you had them. You had them, and you just let them go. And that's why the Astros truly are inevitable, because even when you feel like you have them, you don't. And that's why the Astros are incredible. And the Mariners are still a very good team. The starting pitching looks better and better. Offense is showing up. They're clearly going to add at the deadline. This is it's going to be a race to the end. I do think the Astros eventually come out on top, but the Mariners are not going to go away.
And the Mariners not going away helps Cal Raleigh's MVP candidacy, might I add. Hunter Brown, it took him 90 pitches to get through 4 innings. That was a little weird.
Yeah.
Maybe just rusty. He threw, what, an inning in that All-Star game, and that's
Mariners
about
are
it.
making him work. Mariners are putting up good ABs
Mariners were
against
making
them.
him work. They were eking it out. Wu looked really good until he didn't.
Yep.
Um, My question is about Brian Abreu. Another 1-2-3 inning with two punch outs. Do you think he's bored of being so good at pitching?
Him and Abner Uribe are just the kings of the hold.
Yeah,
Holds appreciators,
Abreu's
those
the king of the
guys.
hold.
No,
Uribe might be the young prince of the
Abner
hold.
has the lead in holds, and I'm a holds appreciator. And as a
Where do
holds
you see this
appreciator,
leaderboard here
we
for
respect
holds?
the leaderboards. Go to Fangraphs, go to standard, not advanced,
Standard,
standard stats on Fangraphs. And I got holds right there.
standard,
Standard.
Fangraphs.
It's
Hold
right
on.
next to like just runs allowed.
Yeah, among qualified pitchers, Nick Martinez, the only one with a hold at one. Minimum 5 innings. Abner Uribe, 27 holds. Adam and Brian Abreu, 23 holds.
I'm just
Tyler
saying.
Rogers, 20 holds. You know what? This is a list of good relievers here.
Something about holds, guys. Just built a
Kittredge,
little bit different
Kittredge, he got paid $10 million for holding games.
and deserved every penny. I would have paid him more. Um, Abner Uribe, his fastball whistles. It's got that. It's like a viper. Brian Abreu's got the same thing as well. Yeah, I mean, Brian Abreu has just been one of the better relievers in baseball for a while now, and he just isn't slowing down anytime soon. That's what's made, again, another reason why the Astros have been so good. Where that bullpen has been a little bit suspect in prior years, right? You had Presley going down. You had Hader looking inconsistent. And Brian Abreu didn't have the greatest season last year, but now they're both right back to it, and they've
Yeah.
thrown in a bunch of other guys who have also been great. I mean, the Astros are just lethal. Of course they are. They're the Astros. They're inevitable. All right, final series, Rangers versus Twins. Again, apologies. Weren't able to recap Sunday Night Baseball, but I'm sure I'll pull up we'll do some box score reading. Game one, Rangers win 2-0. Olson and Corbin, Reese Olson, Patrick Corbin, dueled for 5 to about 6 innings before the bullpens came in. But finally, Tommy Kahnle was the one to crack in the Tigers' pen, and Corey Seager took advantage, driving in two on a double, and that was it. Game two, Rangers win 4-1. Roddy Tellez crushed his first home run as a Ranger, a 3-run shot. He went Hackett on 3-0 and got his, and that was all they needed. As Kumar Rocker was fantastic, Jack. We love this. We love
Yes.
Kumar being back. Going into the seventh inning while only allowing one hit and striking out five. The lone Tigers run came on a Riley Green home run, his 25th of the season. Another underrated hitter around baseball. I know he was an all-star, deserved to be an all-star, obviously, but he has been phenomenal. But all I want to talk about is Kumar. I know the strikeouts weren't quite there yet, and he's got to be more consistent for us to really, truly have a takeaway. But this was impressive against that Tigers offense.
It was impressive. I don't really have a takeaway just yet because I got to see him do it two, three more
Exactly.
times, to be
Yes,
honest
we
with you.
can't. I was about to get ahead of myself. I was like, he did it once.
Yeah, he did it
Before
once.
you even be hyperbolic, could you at least
Right.
let him see it do it twice? Yeah, I
And
need to see
and
him
I'll
do it
give you the
twice.
check. Yeah, and I'll give you the check on Sunday Night Baseball here. 2-1 Detroit, bottom of the eighth inning as it stands
Ooh,
right now. Detroit 2 runs on 9 hits. Texas a run on 4 hits. Getting Tarek Skubal 6 2/3, a 1-run ball, no walks, 11 Ks. ERA sits at 2.19. Jacob Latz on the other side, 5 innings of 1-run ball. How about Latz, the lefty? And then they turned it over to the bullpen. Chris Martin did allow a run. Chris Martin, huge name in pop culture right now. Why?
no idea.
Chris Martin is also the name of the
No,
lead singer of
no idea.
Coldplay. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah. I don't know anything about Coldplay. I know they're like
Dude, really?
I know they're like one of the most famous bands and
I heard
everybody
that
loves
show
them.
at Gillette on Thursday was awesome.
It was really awesome. Not for some though.
Not for two.
Not for two. Anything on this series? Obviously, I want to recap Kumar just because it's like what? Tigers are still awesome. They came out of the break slow. Whatever. Right? You drop two. Shit happens. Not fun to watch if you're a Tigers fan. You're fine though. You're still the Tigers. You're still the best team in the American League right now. And then Scuba comes in and shuts the door and salvages the series for you guys. Now the game isn't over. I don't want to jinx it or anything, but you got Scooble on the mound. You're probably going to win that game. One of those series you just throw away. And for the Rangers, like they've gotten good pitching performances all year, so I'm not surprised to see that continue. But then I want to say, oh, are the Rangers back? Like they're playing really well against a Tigers team, but the Tigers offense looked dead. And it's not like
Yeah.
the Rangers offense came to play either. Like they scored in their wins, they scored 6 total runs. So again, I don't really have much on the Rangers either. And I really want to talk about Kumar, but I don't want to get hyperbolic. So I'm just ready to end the show.
Yeah, we can end the show. I will say Clay Snowden with one of the tweets of the year. I promise I will never insinuate that McKinstry is due for regression again. He's just been too good for some nerd with a keyboard to take anything away from him.
Facts.
I got to start calling myself a nerd with a keyboard more.
We really are. And hopefully everybody enjoyed these two nerds on keyboards talking about baseball. And if you did, the best way to support the Just Baseball show, again, rate and review Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And if you would be so kind as to leave a written review, I'm telling you, that really, really helps the show, as well as liking, commenting, subscribing on YouTube. Even if you don't have any takeaways from anything we said, just drop something that you're enjoying about the show, or even some constructive criticism. Let us know in the YouTube comments below. And of course, join the best baseball group chat in the world. The Discord link is in the episode description. For Jack McMullen, I'm Peter Apple. Of course, we'll see you tomorrow. And with that, thank you, everybody.